Just when you thought things were going looking up, here we go again. All right, everybody, welcome aboard here to the Sports Talk Nation. Michael Cohen here with you. This is a show that I don't think anybody really thought we would be talking about here in the middle of May. With the first place New York Mets, who won their game today against the St. Louis Cardinals, they won it in walk-off fashion with Pete Alonso hitting the game-winning home run in the 10th inning. Mets now 26-14, first place in the NL East. With the exception of the series loss to the Seattle Mariners last weekend, the Mets have won every series they have played in. And took 3 out of 4 from the St. Louis Cardinals this week. So they had a good week from that standpoint and a good way to rebound after the series loss to Seattle. At the same time, this was the biggest news and the most debilitating news of all is the fact that Max Scherzer is going to be out 6 to 8 weeks with an oblique injury. Of course, we all saw what happened there the other day on Wednesday night with Scherzer throwing a pitch to Albert Pujols, feels a twinge in his left side, motions to the dugout, saying, you know what, not feeling it, guys, you got to get me out of here. And that's exactly what happened as he leaves the ball game, does not return. And I will give Scherzer credit because he, as a pitcher, 37 years old, been around a while, knows what his body can and can't handle. Smartly decided to take himself out of the baseball game to prevent even further damage to that oblique. So a good move by him on that part. But still, it's going to be a huge loss for the Mets, who right now are seeing injuries stack up for this team right now, and you have to be concerned. And if you are a Met fan, it's hard not to sit there and go, oh no, here we go again, because we were just down this road just a year ago with this franchise where they were in first place. They spent like 100 days in first place last year. And then the injury to Jacob deGrom happens, disappears, and we never see from him again the rest of the season. And of course, the season spirals out of control. And it's easy to sit here now in 2022 with Max Scherzer on the shelf, with DeGrom still on the shelf until at least July. You would have to imagine he's coming back from the shoulder injury. You have Tyler McGill, who was supposed to sub for DeGrom until he got back, who had been pitching great baseball all season so far. He has the bicep tendonitis. He is on the injury list. James McCann, of course, the catcher, on the injury list as well, with the hamate bone injury. Injuries are starting to stack up for this team right now. And this is a team that's built on pitching, and the thing they could not afford was to have injuries to its starting staff, and now it's starting to happen. So now you're looking at a team that right now, for the foreseeable future, for at least the next 6 to 8 weeks, is going to rely on Chris Bassett, Taijuan Walker, Carlos Carrasco to carry this thing to the best of their ability. And we'll see what the Mets can do as far as bringing guys up. What other guys are going to step up on this team right now? You would have to imagine that Trevor Williams is now going to stay in this rotation for a while. I'd imagine David Peterson's going to be a part of this rotation now. So it's going to be up to those kind of players to step up in a big way for this Mets team, because right now they're going to be entering a critical juncture in their schedule with 16 games in the next 3.5 weeks out west. Starting this weekend, they're going to Colorado, and then they back that up with the trip to San Francisco this upcoming week. But going into June, and this is the killer part right here, going into June, after the Mets finish up the month of May with Philadelphia and Washington at Citi Field, they head back on the road to California to take on the Dodgers for 4 games, take on the Padres for 3 games, and the Angels for 3 games. And all 3 of those teams, all 3, are playing good baseball. All 3 are either in first place or, as the case of the Padres, in second place. It's going to be a tough road trip, and we're going to learn a lot about this Mets team with these injuries. We're going to learn a lot about them in these next 3.5 weeks. We're going to learn a lot about them. And even on the back end, at the end of that trip, after that trip's over, Still in the month of June, you got Milwaukee coming in here to Citi Field, their first place team. And, of course, you have the Houston Astros there late in the month for a couple games here at Citi Field. So it's going to get tougher as we move along. There's no question about that. And the one difference that you have to feel, if you want to take a look at this glass half full, is the fact that a year ago, the manager in charge of things, when things were starting to crumble a little bit, was an inexperienced manager in Luis Rojas. Here you have Buck Showalter, who's been there, done that. And you have to feel confident that he is going to just keep it even-keeled. Even he said yesterday, look, no one's going to feel sorry for us. We're just going to keep on trucking. And today was an example of that. They faced some adversity, obviously, with the injury to Scherzer being the dominating headline. They had a lead late, blew the lead. It was going to happen eventually. At some point, they're going to blow a lead late in the game, the ninth inning. Came back, won the game. Okay? That's what they have to do. They have to, they have to find ways to win games. And the offense, today you saw the Mets lead. The last couple of days, you saw this offense kicking into another gear a little bit. 18 runs in the last two games. Had 11 hits on Wednesday. Today they had, let's see here. I have to look back at the box score. They had 11 more hits today, so 22 hits in the last couple of games. You see, of course, Brandon Nimmo, Jeff McNeil have been hitting very well during this stretch, during these last few days. Pete Alonso, you'd like to see him get going again. You'd like to see Francisco Lindor, who still has been contributing and adding, big hits here and there. Like to see him get going again. I know Eduardo Escobar has been cooled off has been on a downward slump here for a while. Had a couple of hits the other day. So you want to see this offense really start to get rolling, especially as the Mets move into this road trip. And it's imperative for the Mets to find a way, this pitching staff to find a way to keep it going. There's really nothing else you can say about that. They're not going to make a big trade. There's not going to be any help on the way. The help on the way is 2 months away when Scherzer and DeGrom hopefully are healthy enough to come back and help this team. But for right now, it's going to be it's going to make Met fans sweat. You're going to sweat through these next several weeks, and you're certainly going to sweat through the next couple of months as the Mets sit there and wait, and you can only hope for that they can win enough games and keep themselves in first place or within striking distance of first place when those guys come back in, well, I guess you could say late July for that matter. Maybe even in the case of Scherzer, it could be August. I don't know. It's frustrating. It's very frustrating from the Mets standpoint. I'm just trying to keep an even-keeled approach to this because I'm very frustrated myself. And across the river, if you will, across the borough in the Bronx, across the boroughs in the Bronx. I know the Yankees lost today. They lost in Baltimore 9-6, but they've been playing great baseball for several weeks. I mean, before their loss today, the Yankees had won 20 of their last 23, and right now, or 21 of their last 23 before their loss today. 28-10. They are right now very close to, if not on the same pace, win-loss wise, as the 1998 Yankees, the team that won 114 games, ran through the postseason, won 125 games overall, won the World Series. They're on that pace right now, and they can thank really their pitching staff, which has been phenomenal. Garrett Cole, who was struggling at the start of the year, has turned it around big time. His last 4 or 5 starts combined, last 31 innings, only given up 6 earned runs, a 1.74 ERA. Everyone else around him has pitched great. Nestor Cortez, my goodness, this guy's been solid for them. Took a no-hitter into the 8th inning last week against Texas. Luis Severino, looking like the Luis Severino of old. Jameson Taillon, who struggled last year, giving them a lot of good innings so far this year. And even Jordan Montgomery's pitching very well. So starting pitching has been great. The bullpen has been very good. Michael King has been the most impressive out of that bullpen for the Yankees. And then you look in the offense, and it's still the same story. It's home run or nothing. But when you have three guys in the middle of that order that are killing the baseball, the way Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton and Anthony Rizzo are, it's hard. It's hard to stop this Yankee team right now. They are playing lights out baseball at this moment. And they look like a team that could run and hide in the AL East right now. Of course, it's a long season, as we all know. Slumps, as we all know, will possibly happen. Is this Yankee team? Certainly, this Yankee team is not nearly as good as that '98 team, even though the win-loss record is the same right now. but they are playing at a pace that's going to be, they're going to be right there throughout the course of the season and near the top of this division, and if not, near the top seed for the American League right now. So they're playing outstanding baseball. So that's where we are right now, the state of New York. Always up and down, always is, folks, with these two teams. Right now, the Mets are treading water. They're winning their games, they're winning series, but these injuries are going to hurt, and they could come back to bite them soon. The Yankees right now playing great baseball and look unstoppable right now. So leave your thoughts below. Like and subscribe right here to the Sports Talk Nation. We'll talk to you next time.